everyone, I am Neyah and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're gonna talk about the technique of scrying, the divination and secret technique of guess who? Nostradamus. If you wanna learn how to predict the future, or maybe just enter your subconscious mind, or even meditating and understand within who you truly are, well, scrying is for you. So if you're interested, just keep on watching. Alright, you guys, what exactly is the technique of scrying? Well, probably you saw once in your life a crystal ball. Exactly, because scrying in ancient times was considered crystalmancy. And it is used with a magic witchy crystal ball for the most part. But actually, let's be serious. It's not just used with the crystal ball. In actuality, you can use the technique of scrying with crystals in general. You can use the technique of scrying with water, with fire, just gazing at the clouds, with smoke. We are going to cover all of this in this video. But what exactly is the terminology of scrying and where this technique comes from? The technique of scrying is basically a self-induced trance and is used to enter the realm of the subconscious mind. It's considered by science, obviously a pseudoscience by the way, or to talk with spirits and angels and higher consciousness simply for relaxation, like I said before, or to even talk with the spirit of the dead. But I can make a different video about the spirit of the dead and necromancy. Now, the technique of scrying, it's not actually difficult. It really depends on what you resonate more, and it really depends on what tool you prefer to use, and we're gonna cover them all together in this video. But basically, the technique of scrying comes from the ancient Greek, the ancient Romans. Some even say the Aztec and Native Americans, or actually natives of all kind. And I know for a fact that the ancient Egyptian used to use scrying as well, especially with ink and water. But I got really fascinated about the method of scrying with Nostradamus. I mean, one of the most amazing prophet. I discovered of Nostradamus when I was looking into my birth chart and I was looking into my Jupiter. Nostradamus had a Jupiter in Cancer, just exactly like me. And I thought, wow, how uncanny. Not because I feel that I am Nostradamus, nothing like that. But I thought, how uncanny. Let me look into the life of Nostradamus more, just to understand better my Jupiter in Cancer and what does it mean exactly. And also because I've always been fascinated by the way it was interpreting his prophecy and his ways of divination. And through understanding the life of Nostradamus, which also I not only I watched, you know, the movie, the history about Nostradamus, but I literally got a lot of information from the book that Dolores Cannon wrote about Nostradamus. She wrote 2 books about it, where she claims that she could talk with Nostradamus through past life regression. So this is super interesting stuff. And while I was reading all of these books, I discovered that he used to meditate and he used to enter higher consciousness through the technique of scrying. And how exactly? He used to basically self-induce an hypnosis or a deep meditative trance while he was looking at the water. And through the reflection of the water, whether it was like in a river, in an ocean, or perhaps just in his office, in his room with a cup and a dark cup of water, through the water and scrying and gazing at the water, he was able to have vision, he was able to hear spirits, and he was able moreover to have incredible clairvoyance through the images and signs that he was seeing through the water. And this technique is again scrying. But this technique again has evolved so much during the centuries, and that's why I want to cover each and every technique for you today. So it really depends, and especially you can watch my video entitled "What Type of Witch Are You?" to even understand what will be the technique that you appreciate the most. You can use a various of technique. The first one is the one that Nostradamus uses, which is with water. The second one is also a technique that is considered a kriya in yoga, and it's the one that utilizes a candle. So instead of looking and self-inducing your trance through looking at the water, you stare and gaze at a candle. And by the way, we're gonna cover in a second exactly step by step how to do it. So keep on watching, don't worry about it. I'm not just leaving you alone. I'm gonna give you everything step by step. So you do the same technique by gazing at a candle. And this is a potent kriya that even Shupro taught me. By the way, Shupro is my husband and is a yoga teacher, and he knows tons of these techniques, and you can check his channel, the link is down below. And through gazing at the fire, doing this kriya, not only you can access higher consciousness, but literally you're doing an intense exercise of focus and meditation. But you can also use the same technique by gazing at crystals, or if you're doing this reading for someone else, you can make the other person chooses the crystals, and then by gazing and scrying at the crystals, you can have valuable information about the person. But I can make a separated video just about the crystal technique because it's a very specific one that I have learned. And also you can do scrying through a mirror, through a black mirror, which is also what a lot of ancient people used to do. Even Cornelius Agrippa, that even stated that scrying has nothing to do with the devil or the black art, but actually is a wonderful tool to access the subconscious mind, or simply manifesting, visualizing, and relaxing. It is even considered by Hermetism the technique of scrying. But let's move on. You can also do this through the smoke. Now, obviously, doing scrying through smoke is a technique that is through the Aztec, in my opinion, and through a lot of native culture, because they used to gather around a fire and observe the smoke. You can do the same in your home, but I don't advise this method if you are beginners and you are feeling really not comfortable with the element of smoke and fire. You feel you're gonna burn something in your house, anything like that. You just don't feel comfortable. Don't do it. It's not necessary. There are other techniques like water that we mentioned before. Now, the technique of the smoke, you basically take a glass ball, like I'm gonna show you in the video, and you write down in a piece of paper the question that you want to be answered. And then you lit the piece of paper and you put it inside the jar, the glass jar, and obviously you close it so the smokes gets gathered within the jar. And through gazing and scrying at the smoke, you're able to perceive visions and to focus and understand through your subconscious mind or through your spirit guides and angels exactly what is the answer and what is your message. Or you can also liberate the smoke and read the liberation of the smoke from the jar. Now, also another technique that's super easy and not expensive that you can do to scry is literally in a sunny day or in a good day, well, obviously it's not raining, you can lay down on the grass and look and be part and one with nature, suck up all of this energy and gazing at the clouds. That is also another technique of scrying. Or you can purchase a crystal ball and do it with a crystal ball, which is the ancient technique of also looking at a black mirror. Some might say that you can do scrying also with your TV, but I highly disagree with that because the TV has also the reflection of other objects within your lounge or whatever you're placing the TV, and the TV doesn't really hold any energy because it's a man-made tool. So yes, it's kind of a black mirror and you could use it, but I don't really suggest it for this reason. Even when it comes down to the crystal balls, there are a lot of crystal balls out there in the market. For example, there are crystal balls that are super cheap and they are basically made of glass. But in actuality, glass doesn't really have any property to it. So for example, this crystal ball, even though it's more on the expensive side, is an obsidian crystal ball. It's a real crystal. And because it's black, it's perfect when it comes down to do scrying. But moreover, obsidian is also a protective stone that protects from negativity. Reason why they were using black obsidian a lot even in ancient time. So scrying, it's gonna be a lot easier for the property that the crystal holds. Or for example, you can take a crystal ball of amethyst, of aventurine or aquamarine, whatever it is that you like, or even citrine, but a crystal that holds some properties and some energy that you can gather and that will help you tremendously in your channeling and in your vision. And if you want to know more about how crystals have a consciousness and all of this, watch my video entitled crystals. So whatever tool you're gonna choose, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. I really like to use scrying either with water or again with my black obsidian ball, and to dedicate the scrying and hold it with my bastet crystal thing, I don't know, holder. And what you should do exactly in order to get prepared for scrying. It's super easy. If you are familiar with meditation, you probably are already familiar with scrying. If you're not, just follow my guidelines. Step number 1, don't utilize drugs or any substances that are altering your state of consciousness. This can be very dangerous because you're entering the realm of your subconscious mind, to say the least. Or maybe you're entering the supernatural, literally. You're entering the communication with your angels and spirit guides and higher consciousness. So definitely you don't want any substances in the way that will clutter your vibration and that will make you in contact with the astral plane instead, or with not very nice entity. Not because scrying is dangerous. Scrying is absolutely not dangerous, but you want to do it safe and you want to do it properly. Step number 2, you must apply scrying in a state of allowance and in a mood that is positive and when you are peaceful and grounded. You definitely don't want to ask the angels or your spirit guides, and neither your higher self or your subconscious, when you are really in a negative space, or you feel that it's not gonna work, or you just you feel in a lower vibrational state. I highly disagree any type of divination when you are not feeling happy, when you're not feeling joyful, or maybe since we cannot be extremely joyful and happy all the time, at least you are feeling peaceful within. You're feeling like, okay, I'm doing something for myself, I'm doing something uplifting, I'm going to communicate with my angels. So please don't use this technique if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling in a lower vibrational state. Watch or pick a card instead, ask counseling, do something else. Just try to check on your vibration before you actually do scrying or any type of reading, especially by yourself. Step number 3. Take a safe and nice spot within your house. For example, you can sit on a chair and on a table if it's comfortable for you. You can take a nice cleansing bath, put some comfortable clothes, or for example, I like to do scrying in my room and in my bed because I'm super comfortable and I know for a fact that I'm going to take a lot of hours or maybe even half an hour just dedicated to this practice. So I need to be comfortable. And also try to use natural light, or if you want to do this in the dark, you can light some candle and some incense. You can also listen to music if you want, especially those type of music that holds a certain type of frequency. For example, you are working your meditation or your scrying technique because you want to visualize healing, you can utilize a frequency that helps you out with that. Or perhaps you want to enter higher state of consciousness, you can utilize a frequency that also helps you with that. Whatever that you want. And you can also utilize scrying in silence. And this obviously will be the technique that is favorite to yogis and also my husband, because he always says, no, do it without music so you're entering even more your subconscious mind and you're not really getting affected by something else or like another frequency. And this technique might be more difficult obviously because music helps getting into trance. So I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Just do whatever feels comfortable for you and place the ball, the water, whatever it is that you're using in front of you and connect with it through your hands. Step number 4, it's time to start the scrying technique. First of all, like I said before, in step number 3, you want to place your hand on the thing that you're doing the scrying for, just to connect with your object. For example, if I'm holding a crystal ball, I'm going to connect with the crystal ball in this way. I'm going to feel the energy of the crystal ball. And when I'm doing this step, also what you can possibly do, you can cleanse the crystal ball, the water, or whatever it is that you're using with sage, with incense, or even casting a circle if you're more of a witch, or perhaps calling your angels and spirit guides. Because one thing that is important is to always do a little prayer or cast the protective circle even with salt around you in order to protect yourself when you're doing this divination techniques. So for example, I do this because this is my technique. There are so many methods out there. Sorry, there's thunders outside. There are so many methods out there, so I'm not saying that my method is the best one or anything like that. Comment down below to share also your methods. Like, I always love to hear your stories, but this is what I do. I take the crystal ball, I connect with the crystal ball or the crystals that I have with me, the water, and I close my eyes and I ask Archangel Michael to be with me and protect me in this reading. Let all the evil energy be away from this reading. I ask all the 12 archangels to be with me today. Mother, Father, God, let me have only messages from the higher consciousness. Let me have only messages of truth, love, and light. And let there be no lies in this reading. So it be, so it be, so it be. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. Mother, Father, God, Ray, my spirit guides and angel, all the 12 archangels and Archangel Michael with your blue protective light. Thank you for being here with me today. And this is also a little prayer that I do all the time when I'm working with my private readings. Every single time I want to feel protected. And this is also what the ancient Egyptian used to do. They were always doing an ancient protective spell. This is what Wiccans do. This is what witches do. They just cast a circle. They do it in a different way. They call the cardinal points and the guardians of the watching towers. Whatever it is that works for you, it doesn't matter. But please protect yourself when it comes down to any divination tool. Now, step number 5. The breathing technique and inducing the trance. If you are familiar with past life regression or even meditation, this is going to be very organic and very natural for you guys. But if you're not familiar with this, basically, you have to focus on your breathing. So when you place your hand on the ball or whatever it is that you're using, if you're using smoke, of course, you're doing this prior to actually operating the smoke because this is a preparation for the technique of scrying. So while you're touching the ball or touching whatever it is that you have chosen or even gazing at the sky with cloud gazing and cloud scrying, you want, guys, to really focus on your breathing, like in a yogic breathing technique that it's also taught down below in my e-courses, in Shupro e-courses, actually, the 7-step vortex program. You want to take the breath in and out. You want to go back within yourself and breathe in and out. Inhale and exhale. The music can help entering the state of allowance where you're not really controlling the thoughts, but thoughts are going, and you just go deeper and deeper and deeper within yourself. And it's very important in step number 5 that you guys don't rush anything. If you don't feel like, I'm not feeling like looking at the water, I'm not feeling like looking at the crystal, don't worry about it. Keep breathing. Keep entering this point of stillness. Practice this deep meditation. There is nowhere to go. There is nowhere where you have to be. You can allow to be in the present moment, knowing that all the answers that you seek, whether you are asking your subconscious, whether you're asking your angels or spirit guides, are there available for you at any time. Everything around you is made of consciousness. Everything around you is made of information. You can allow this information. You don't have to be a natural born psychic. Everybody can do scrying, and everybody can find benefit in this technique also just for relaxation. So leave all the pressure behind in this step. If you don't get any answer, it doesn't matter. You're doing something great for yourself. You're doing something amazing, something that is uplifting your spirit. You're relaxing your body. You're taking time off just for yourself. And if you will focus on your breathing in and out, on the noise of your breath and out, obviously not with your mouth, I just do it so you can hear it, and you focus on that sound, you will see how much trance it's going to become easier and deeper and deeper and deeper. And remember that hypnosis, it's always self-hypnosis. So once you have done this, and it might take a while, so please don't pressure yourself, it's all good. Let's move on to step number 6. Now you're holding the bottle of water, or maybe you're holding your crystal. And by the way, you can put even in your bottle of water plants, like for example, I put lavender on, you can put oils, you can put crystals, anything that you feel called to. Remember, water has consciousness. Everything that you're holding is consciousness, and it has the information that you seek, especially if you're connecting either with your subconscious or with the higher realm. Now, let's talk about the example of the ball. If you're holding the ball and now you can open your eyes after the deep trance, or even looking and gazing at the flame, I want you guys to focus on the ball, on the flame, on the water, whatever tool that you're using, and try not to blink your eyes. Try to have a very sharp focus on what you're looking into. Let your eye water a little bit and go away from focus and blur. That will help you tremendously. Obviously, if you're hurting your eyes, then blink, but try to resist as much as possible. And if you have the ball, for example, you can move it. And what is it that you're seeing? Allow your mind to see, to receive signs, hearing voices, anything that you want to look. Maybe if you are more skeptical and you don't believe you're talking with angels or spirit guides, maybe you're a beginner, you're talking with yourself. Remember that nobody knows you more than you, and you have the answer in your subconscious or even your higher self to all that you need. So go and go deeper and deeper within yourself while you're gazing. This also works with the flame. Like I told you, just gaze and focus. By the way, it's done by Tibetan monk with mandalas, or even in Hinduism by looking and concentrating on sacred geometry. Literally, scrying can be done with everything. It's all about the technique. Now, step number 7. If you are arriving into seeing something, or even perhaps perceiving something, don't write it down. Please try to hold it in your mind, because you don't want to step away from the trance. Try to really talk with your angels, talk with higher consciousness, or even talk with yourself, and while you're looking at this, having an inner conversation. And then when you feel that you got all your answers, if you're lighting up the smoke, obviously light up the piece of paper and then do the gazing through the smoke. And then when you feel you got your answer, then you can write it down in your book of shadow or anything among those lines, or anything that you want, so you won't forget. And this is the beautiful technique of scrying, and I also call it gazing for some reason, but the technique of scrying, it can also be done with another person, believe it or not. And if you do it with another person, like gazing in each other's eyes, for example with your twin flame or your soulmate, that really helps your bond. It really helps enter the deepness of each other, of your subconscious. But I can make a different video about that. And like I said before, this technique was used by the ancient Egyptian, but moreover by Nostradamus himself. And I feel that he had so many amazing visions, and obviously he was a bit cryptic into writing them down, which is the problem, because of the time where he lived and because of the persecution that that time holded. But I really think that honestly, scrying can be used by everyone, especially, not to repeat myself, but to emphasize on relaxation, entering the point of stillness. Because guys, sometimes it's not really about the supernormal or the supernatural, the paranormal, and communicate with your spirit guides or the spirit of the dead, but sometimes it's really about entering your point of stillness. And when you do that, you're gonna have really amazing effect just simply for raising your vibration, and then possibly, moreover, to predict the future and to know more about yourself and the higher realms. Obviously, this technique is also used as necromancy and to speak with the spirit of the the spirit of the dead. Like this crystal ball, for example, is almost like a Ouija board. But obviously, necromancia, it's not a technique to really mess around with, especially if you are a beginner. And I just don't. I used the Ouija board for such a long time, and also with the spirit of the dead, since I was born psychic and in a family of witches. And according to my experience, I don't really suggest this at all, unless you want to help the spirits on the other side that are stuck to cross and go to the realm of consciousness, to the higher realm of spirit. That is when I advise this technique. But again, I can do a separate video about it. Now, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of scrying. If this video was informational and useful for all of you guys, literally, you can use this technique with a crystal ball, with crystals, with water, with fire, with smoke, with clouds, with anything that you want. So let me know in the comment section, or perhaps if you are a much more expert witch or simply practitioner that know more about scrying, please go ahead and comment down below. I would love to have your contribution over here, and also suggest more videos that you guys want to watch. In the meantime, keep in mind you're never wrong if you follow love, and I hope to see you on my next one. Remember to subscribe for I have more pico cards, spiritual videos, witchy videos, you name it, I do it. And see you soon. Bye!